Now, if you live inside of this red circle, stay with me here for a minute. We have multiple days of severe weather possible this week, including a potential significant severe weather day. Hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes are all on the forecast. Let's dive in and figure out what is going to happen. Now, before we do get into this severe weather risk discussion, I do want to kind of point out that the Storm Prediction Center has upgraded their website. Today, March 3rd, is when the new outlooks were issued, and so we do have a decent amount to talk about with these new outlooks. So we're going to go ahead and get started on the day one. This is today. This risk is pretty much over, but I do want to touch base on it. We've had a few isolated strong thunderstorms across this marginal risk, and a few more will be possible tonight. This is a level 1, so this is not going to be too wildly insane, but for areas northeast of Lubbock, southwest of Springfield, Topeka, Wichita, Oklahoma, just be ready tonight just in case any more storms do form. But overall, this threat is kind of diminishing. Really was just an isolated damaging wind and small hail threat. Now, as we get into tomorrow, things do get a little bit more interesting, and tomorrow is when this thunderstorm day really becomes more intense, where we start getting more coverage over the next few days. We have this slight risk level 2 out of 5 risk for severe thunderstorms. Waco, Texas, Dallas, Texas, all the way up into Evansville, Indiana. It does include the states of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, and southern Illinois. This is going to be a very, very low tornado threat. We could have a tornado risk or two, but this is going to be very, more wind threat and hail threat. With the new updates, we do not have any significant tags to this. The new intensity hatches that we have, levels 1 through 3, we don't have any of that. So this is going to be more of a isolated threat, but a few severe thunderstorm warnings and potentially a tornado warning cannot be ruled out across this area tomorrow. Now, if we are taking a look at the HRRR, we do have a few thunderstorms in the forecast across the marginal risk into the morning hours. But as we get through into tomorrow, we're going to be watching a more widespread area of precipitation. And even with the potential lack of severe thunderstorms that tomorrow's risk may produce, we will definitely have a decent amount of rainfall across this area, especially across parts of central Missouri. We could see some probably heavy rainfall at times for a few hours, and this is going to be a basically a multi-hour threat. It's not going to be like an outbreak or something like that, but this is going to be a risk that we will need to monitor for a while. As we continue through, we get through to after the evening and the nighttime hours, and we can see even behind this past 8-9 o'clock, we still have more storms forming on the butt end of this from Texas all the way up into parts of southern Illinois, where we're highlighting that slight risk. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Once again, this is going to be a more wind and hail threat, but an isolated tornado or two could not be ruled out if we do get an organized thunderstorm. Now, as that first trough begins to clear out, we do get another risk of severe thunderstorms from a different trough, which we're going to get into here into a minute, on the 5th. This is going to be Thursday the 5th. We have a slight risk of severe weather. This includes Odessa, Abilene, Lubbock, Amarillo, and Dodge City, just outside of Wichita. But this is going to be from southern Kansas on down into parts of western Texas, including the Panhandle. And then that marginal risk of severe storms stretches from Sioux City, Omaha, Lincoln, all the way down to the border of the Texas-Mexico area. This is going to be the probabilistic of a 15%, but we do also have one of the SIG hatches with this. This is going to be the first level of SIG, so definitely very interesting to see this in effect. But definitely the potential for a few, depending on what this is SIG for, we don't have that narrowed down just yet from the Storm Prediction Center, but potentially some significant hail in excess of 2 inches and the possibility of a wind gust in excess of 60 miles an hour. Now, as we get into the evening hours, we're using the RRFS for this, not the HRRR. Just be wary that the RRFS, for some reason, tends to overdo supercells a little bit, so that's why we get all these updraft tracks along these storms. But it kind of gives a good idea of what we could expect, and this looks like it could be a supercell threat across the Panhandle. The potential for a few tornadoes does exist, but this is mainly going to be a potentially strong to damaging wind gust threat and the potential for a few significant hail events. This will form into the afternoon and evening, 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, and this will continue into the morning hours as these cross over into Oklahoma. So definitely, if you are in the risk area, the Panhandle, on the 5th, Thursday the 5th, make sure you have your severe weather plan ready and be able to be awake before you go to bed so that you can get to your safe spot if a warning is issued. And now, potentially one of the most significant days we're going to see of this, kind of this long span of severe weather is going to be on Friday, Friday the 6th. We have a 30% day 4 through 8 issued. This is on the day 4, but the last time we had a 30% issued was likely sometime in May of last year. That was back in tornado season 2025. So it has been a very long time. Storm Prediction Center does not issue these unless it's absolute necessary. And the pattern does show that we could potentially have a significant severe weather day on the 6th of Friday. So this is going to be from that 15% stretches all the way from Wisconsin to Texas, but that 30% really highlights between, Missouri, Kansas, and Oklahoma, just north of the Red River, Oklahoma City, Norman, Tulsa, just east of Wichita, including Kansas City. This will have the potential for all hazards, like I just mentioned, but potentially a few significant hazards as well. Now, I do want to highlight what the Storm Prediction Center has said. Storms are expected to grow upscale, which means that would produce a less of a tornado threat into the afternoon and evening. But they do note that the conditions will be favorable for supercells, and supercells will be capable of tornadoes, large hail, and damaging wind gusts. And that is a concern that we're really beginning to highlight down, especially the tornado threat if we do get the environment that a significant tornado would be capable of producing in. And every time tornado season rolls around, we always talk about how these day 4 through 8 risks are a little bit more something to eye than the day 1 through 3. If there's confidence that you can go out day 4, day 5, day 6 and highlight a contour that models are agreeing with, that means that model and that day is a little bit more bullish than highlighting something on day 1 through 3. So the fact that we're able to get the confidence of an enhanced risk equivalent, a 3 out of 5, we are extremely confident that it will be a severe weather day and potentially a significant one at that. Now, we will have instability shoot up fairly high from the Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico, whichever one you call it. This will extend all the way up into parts of southern Minnesota, all the way out into the Ohio Valley. And while instability does not look impressive on this model in particular, it does usually tend to increase in our short-term models, like the convectional line, like the HRRR and the RFS and things like that. So once we get into the range where we can use that, I would suggest that this does increasing this instability. But even without the significant instability, significant CAPE level, we will have a moist and unstable environment, and we will have moderate wind shear that will be able to assist with production of tornadoes. And that's why we're really highlighting this day in particular. And even as we get past Friday, there is still more signals for severe storms that will continue, especially we can see this trough right here on the 7th. This is beginning to eject into the plains, which will favor for more severe thunderstorms. So tornado season started 2 days ago on the 1st, and it looks like Mother Nature is beginning to throw this pattern at us that's going to really put us in the eye for the tornado season. So if you live in this circle or you live in one of the highlighted areas specifically that we've talked about today, now is your time to prepare. Make sure you get with your family, get your severe weather plan and tornado plan highlighted out, and make sure you know what to do in case of a warning is issued. And especially on Friday, make sure we're taking this seriously. Friday has the potential to produce some significant hazards that will be capable of damage and potentially problems with life and safety concerns. So definitely keep an eye out. My name is Christian. You can follow me on X. Link is in the description. Stay safe. Have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next one.